Hi, and welcome to the first episode of Jamaican Archives. Yes, this is a program that is established to regulate, rank, and just look at the many different arches of our nation. So it could vary from like parish council buildings, bridges, highways, uh, ranking the different parishes, ranking the parish capitals, ranking the parishes themselves, the counties, etc. Today, we're ranking the parish council buildings or the municipal council buildings of Jamaica. Now, there are 14 municipal council buildings. As you know, there are 14 parishes. And with Portmore having its own jurisdiction as a municipality and will be becoming a parish pretty soon, there are 14 municipal councils across Jamaica. Hence, there are 14 municipal council buildings. Now, what is a municipal council? Now, a municipal corporation is a legal term for a local government body, including but not necessarily limited to cities, counties, towns, townships, charter townships, villages, and boroughs. The term can also be used to describe municipality-owned corporations. Our municipal council building is any enclosed building or structure owned or leased and occupied by a town for a purpose of providing municipal services. In Jamaican terms, these are the parishes, right? And in the terms of Portmore, a municipality. So, in order to significantly and unbiasedly rank these buildings, I decided to look at four things that I'm looking for in these municipal buildings, and that's beauty, architectural design, historical feature, and symbolicness. So I'll be ranking the buildings from least to most. So I'll be starting with the least most beautiful or historic, the least of the buildings that I see in my perspective that is the most beautiful municipal corporation building in Jamaica. So let's jump in. Coming in dead last at number 14 is the parish of St. Anne. Now this is very surprising because I was looking for a picture. They don't even have a picture up of the St. Anne Municipal Corporation building. And I couldn't even find a picture nowhere online. And this is what I found on TVJ's, one of TVJ News' page. And I have to snap it so that I could get it to this. So this is what I could come up with for the parish of St. Anne. Now this is a big embarrassment for St. Anne because St. Anne is the second most touristy parish in Jamaica. This is the garden parish talking about here. If anything in Jamaica that says beauty, the first parish that comes to your mind would be St. Anne. So for a parish like St. Anne to have such a dilapidated building like this as its municipal corporation building, I think is very, very embarrassing. Big disappointment, big disappointment for St. Anne. So coming in dead last at number 15 is St. Anne, the ugliest municipal council building in Jamaica. Coming in at number 13 as the second most ugliest municipal building in Jamaica is, of course, Portland. I have to search hard to find this one. And when I do find it, this is what I came up with. I actually saw I think two other buildings that I thought was a municipal building. I've never been to Portland, so I don't know. But I searched long and hard, and this is what I came up with. Now, I think is another big disappointment, just like St. Anne. Another big disappointment for another parish such as Portland, which is the Evergreen Parish. Yes, Portland is the Evergreen Parish. It's one of the most beautiful parishes in Jamaica. So I think for a parish like Portland, I would have seen something more impactful. I mean, it's just there. It's just like any other building in the town of Port Antonio. So second most ugliest building for parish councils or municipal buildings in Jamaica, Portland. Coming in at number 12 is St. Thomas. Now, this is not a very ugly building, but to where it is in the parish capital, White Bay, I was expecting to be in the middle of the town. It's like in the edge, just right under the hills. Yes, it's not very bad looking, but I think it could have been more impactful. It's like any other building within the town of Morant Bay. So I'm gonna say coming in as the third most ugliest would be St. Thomas. However, this will not this will change in the near future as they will be getting a new parish council building that will be a part of the Morant Bay Development Center. Yeah, that center that new place that they're building up at the old Goodyear Oval. So they will be getting a new parish council building pretty soon. But for now, this is the third most ugliest building of any parish council or municipal buildings in Jamaica. Coming in at number 11 is St. Mary. Now, St. Mary is a small parish, it's not a large parish. So I'm going to say, yeah, this building, I think, is in size. I think this is a fitting building for a small parish such as St. Mary. But I do think it could have been a more symbolic building that says, yes, this is the most important building in the parish. This is where the parish government meets. It's supposed to stand out somewhere in the middle of the town. Instead, it's somewhere on the edge, on the hill, somewhere there in Portmore. I don't know what they were thinking, but I do think that St. Mary deserves a more symbolic building. It doesn't have to be bigger because it's a small parish, but I would say yes, St. Mary deserves a more symbolic building. So I'm gonna say yes, St. Mary is the fourth most ugliest. It has the fourth most ugliest municipal building in Jamaica. Coming in at number 10 is Kingston and St. Andrew. Now, for the capital of Jamaica, I was expecting something more, something vibrant, something more historic, don't get me wrong, it's an historic building. But for the capital of Jamaica, for Kingston as a capital of Jamaica, I was expecting something more popping, something that stands out like one of these, US state capitol buildings, or something like that. But it should have been something more symbolic that when you look at it, it says Kingston, it says the big city. This building is just hidden in a little corner on Church Street. It's all painted up and colorful and all of that, yes, but yeah, it's all colorful. It's in with the colors of the KSAMC. Yeah, the colors is there, but I think it could have been more. I think a Kingston and St. Andrew municipal building could have been more impactful. As a city and the parishes that it represents, I think we should have something more popping for the parishes of Kingston and St. Andrew. I mean, the KSAMC is not even its own building. It's a part of a sort of building along Church Street, so it's just a part of these buildings. For two parishes with half the population of Jamaica, I think we could have more impactful buildings. I mean, there are so many councillors within the KSMC, and I'm wondering how those people, I'm wondering how all of them fit in that small building right there. I'm just wondering, Big disappointment for Kingston and St. Andrew. You're at number 10. Fifth on the list is my home parish of Clarendon. Yes, Clarendon. Yes, that's my home parish. And this is just how to show you how unbiased I am, because this is my home parish. I could have ranked it number 1, but I ain't going to be like that. But I must say, this is one of the ugliest buildings ever. They have Clarendon, my parish, have one of the ugliest parish council buildings or municipal council buildings ever. Matter of fact, it's just like Kingston St. Andrew. It's not even its own building. The parish council and the courthouse shares the same building. Yes, it's like a one long building sitting in the heart of Maypen. Well, I give that to Clarendon because it is in the heart of the parish capital. So that's a plus for it. But I mean, it has no history to it. It has nothing that pops out within Maypen that says, yes, this is a capital building. This is the municipal building. It doesn't pop out. It's just hiding right behind the park right there. If you don't see a sign, you will not know that's a parish council building, because it's like any other building within Maypen. So it does not pop out. It does not, it's painted beautifully, but it does not pops out that you can say, yes, this is a municipal building. And for a parish like Clarendon, a large parish like Clarendon, I think Clarendon deserves a much symbolic building. So overall, I think this is one of the ugliest parish council buildings ever. The fifth out of all the parish council buildings, coming in at number 9, is Clarendon. I don't know Portmore. This is a brand new building. Yes, it's a brand new building. They just moved into it like a year ago. They didn't have a building. I mean, Portmore became a city in 2003, just 20 years ago. So they just built an official building for the municipality, and they just moved into it just over a year ago. I don't know. I think it's a beautiful white building. Yes, it's large for a city like Portmore, which is a future parish. I do think it's large. The size is good, but it's just like every other building. It's just like building a house, or it's just building a regular house. It's like a plaza. To me, it reminds me of a plaza or a shopping center. It doesn't pop out. It has nothing that says, yes, this it doesn't stand apart. It doesn't stand out and stand apart and say, yes, this is a municipal building. It doesn't. I mean, if I was going through Portmore, I would think it's a plaza. It looked like any other plaza. It looked like a mall or something like that. It doesn't pop out. I think that it was a bad design. I think, the architectural importance and the historical and symbolic importance was not put into this building. It's a brand new building. Yes, it's big, but it doesn't pop out as a municipal building. So that's why it's at number 8. So Portmore, number 8 on the list. Coming in at number 7 is St. James. Surprisingly, for another tourist capital, is another surprise to me. St. Anne was way too much of a surprise for me. But St. James is kind of a surprise. It's a very beautiful building. I think it's a 5 or 6 story building, if I'm counting right. It's a high building. It's a very, very large building with so many floors for a parish council building. St. James is not even a very large parish geographically. It has the population of Montego Bay is 70% of the population of St. James. So it's not a very large parish. So for a building, I would say it's really big for a parish such as St. James. However, it's a beautiful building, but it's not symbolic. It's not a very symbolic building that says, yes, this is the parish council building. I would have passed it in downtown Montego Bay and assume it's a commercial building, like an office space building, a commercial office space building, or so much. It's a very beautiful building. It's a large building. I think it says Montego Bay very well, yes, but for a parish municipal building, I don't think it says much. So that's why it's at number 8. But I would have chosen the Civic Center, the Montego Bay Civic Center. I think it's a more symbolic building that says more, like where the heads of government meets. So I think the Montego Bay Civic Center would fit more as the parish council, the municipal corporation building. I think so. I do think so. So I think they could have make it bigger and make this the parish council building as well as the civic center. A very beautiful building. St. James, number 7 on the list. Rounding off the top 8 at number 6 is the Breadbasket Parish, St. Elizabeth. I think they have a very beautiful municipal council building. Now look at this. Oh my gosh, this is historic. Now this is what we look at when we say yes, government. This says government. This is saying government right here. You look at this building, from the very start that yes, this is where the heads of government meets, where whether it's mayors, councillors, even the prime minister. I think this building even looks more beautiful than Jamaica House way more beautiful than that box at Duke Street that they have for for the Jamaican Parliament. If this building was the Jamaican Parliament, oh Lord, I think it would be one of the most beautiful in the Caribbean. So this right here is saying yes. The only problem I have with it for a parish with for a parish such as St. Elizabeth, which is the second largest geographical parish in Jamaica, I think it could have been a little bit bigger. It could have been a little bit bigger, but I will give it to them because guess what? St. Elizabeth is not a very populous parish. It's not a very populous parish. So I think taking that back, I think this building is just right. Size, whether it's large or not, this building is just so superb. So this building, round off the top 8, I think is the most beautiful buildings of the top 8. St. Elizabeth, the 6th most beautiful municipal buildings of all. So those are my rankings, my perspectives of the lower tier parish council buildings from 14 to number 6. These are the lower tier municipal buildings on my list. So join me for part 2 of this edition as I will present to you the upper tier buildings, the upper tier municipal corporation buildings on the list, the top 5 of all the municipal buildings, which the most beautiful and most impactful municipal council buildings will be revealed. This has been the first episode of Jamaican Archives. Thank you for watching.